2 words. Cheap video games. I love cheap games. I dream of cheap games. I'm always thinking about cheap games, and I am cheap games' biggest fan.
I love you.
Cheap video games. And what's the best way to get cheap games? Pirating them. But there's a even better, slightly more legal way to get them. Key websites. Now let me be clear. 90% of the time, these key websites are just free porn virus websites that give you access to a new search bar. But every so often, you might find a few sites that actually give you what you want for a pretty decent price. So you can imagine my shock when I found out some of these key websites also sell random bundles of games for just a couple dollars. Just think about what great games could be in these bundles. So I decided to find out. I ended up putting 3 of these bundles into my cart and ended up getting about 15 games for about $13. So let me calculate this. $13 divided by 18 equals pretty much nothing. Well, what a deal. 15 action-packed games bundled into one pack, all for an efficient price. Why don't more people talk about these? For the price of like 3 gumballs, you get 15 really good games, right? Let's see what we got, and let's see if getting one of these bundles is really worth it. It's not. Asteroid is a game where you're a little white square trying to avoid all the black squares. I feel like there's social commentary in here, but I don't know where to start with it. Ignoring that, the game really isn't bad at all. It's like an old Flash game that you'd play for 20 minutes before needing to put your Chromebook back. It's pretty fun. It's decently hard. Easy. Fucking easy. Next. I don't really have any witty commentary for this. It's an okay game. Is it $10 good? No, but if you can get it for a couple pennies, why not? I recall Mine 3 is a bird simulator where you fly around as this thing. You gotta collect these feathers or something. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of these chill vibe type games. I think I'm just too dark and mysterious to really play them. But if you're into that, then yeah, you're probably gonna like this game. It's a good game for the easily amused, and there's fucking 3 of them apparently, so you got a bunch of content. I only played this one for like 6 minutes, and I think I got all I could out of it. I honestly don't know how to feel about Asteroid Bounty Hunter. On one hand, you can tell that this game wasn't a complete corporate piece of shit. The story especially was made with some love and care and isn't just some blatant ripoff of a better game, I think. The story is about the Asteroid Bounty Hunter and all this other stuff, and it basically boils down to you doing whatever this is. The only thing I remember from the story is that the guy got drunk and forgot to feed his dog. What the fuck? What? But the point is, somebody probably put some effort into the story. The gameplay also isn't awful. Yeah, it's a little generic and not the funnest thing in the world. But you can still tell that somebody put at least a little bit of effort in to make it happen. On the other hand though, the story feels out of place with its weirdly dark themes and elements. The gameplay just doesn't have enough variation to really make it worth playing. The UI and music is lazy, it feels like an app. And overall, it was better than I thought it would be, but that isn't saying much. I'm gonna preface this section by saying this. I am really bad at chess. In the 20 or so minutes of me playing this game, I won 0 matches and humiliated myself completely. However, I still think this is a very good game. It's just chess, but there's a good amount of fun animations, and there's a story mode for some reason. And I feel like a lot of chess fanatics would really like to know the background of some of these pieces. There's also some other modes that I didn't play that add some variety to the chess, but overall it's just fucking chess, what do you expect? If you like chess, you'll like this. If you like hot demon ladies, you'll also like this. So it's got a little bit of something for everybody. Similar to Asteroid Bounty Hunter, I don't really know how to feel about this game. Effort was clearly put into it, but I don't really know why. It's a generic platformer that has very few defining characteristics, and I have very little to say about it. There's a story, I guess, the dash mechanic is okay, and that's about it. I was bad at it. I don't really want to play anymore. Probably don't get it. My Land is about this little king guy going around doing chores and fighting zombies and all this other stuff. But as you can probably tell, it's just some game that was put on phones and then sloppily imported onto Steam and listed for $40 fucking for some reason. This is probably my most played game in this entire video. It's not because it's good. It's just because it's so mind-numbingly simple and repetitive that you can just sit there going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back until you realize that 30 minutes have passed and you should have probably been doing something better. The people who made this clearly had no passion. They just made something quick and simple, and I don't really mind that. It's not that bad. I also think that there's probably some lore in this game. There's a lot of these homes and hell portals that some Chinese worker probably put in there as some deep intertwined story, but I don't really care to look into that. It's pretty fun, but don't buy this. Just find it on your local app store or something. Dual Bus Simulator is the beginning of a series of games I like to call the shitty mobile driving games that are put on Steam in the hope that 5-year-olds would buy them and the developer could make an extra $30 for drugs series. And yeah, all these games are just mobile games that are put on Steam so that people like me could play them for 5 minutes and decide that my life is actually worth a little bit more than that, allowing the developer to fill their pockets without any downsides. But yeah, I have nothing to say about this. If you played any other bus game, you've played this. You drive a bus, that's it. It's clearly very little effort, it's not polished at all, and it's somehow more fun than the games that actually had some effort put into them. Honestly, it's just dumb fun, and I can't really get mad at it. And there's this funny AI voice.
Thanks for the ride.
So I think that's pretty cool. This is the same thing as Dual Bus Simulator, but now you're driving around Europe.
12 funny French sounds.
There's a bar for abusing passengers, and that's pretty fun, I guess. But this one also got pretty boring fast. I think I'd put Dual Bus Simulator over it though, just cause that game's so bad, it's at least kind of fun. This game's just frustrating, and I hate Europe. It's the same as the last two, but now you drive a little buggy thing, and it controls it even worse somehow. That's it. There's nothing more to say. Afterwar Town is what you get when you look up Counter-Strike Online and click the first link. You go around shooting people, and that's it. There's no online mode, it's just completely offline, and honestly, I kind of like it. It's pretty fun. At least it's pretty fun until it starts using your PC to mine Bitcoin. Also, this guy jump scared me, and it didn't let me shoot a penis in the floor. Honestly, just play fucking Shell Shockers or something. Planes Combat was a pretty nice change of pace. You just fly around and you shoot shit. There's, again, very little effort put into making it, but shooting things is just fun sometimes. It's really hard to aim, and the controls are really unintuitive, and everything about this game feels cheap and looks cheap. But the planes are cool, and it's kind of fun. It's like every other defense game you've ever played, but somehow even has less soul and effort put into it. It was clearly made to be an app where you would buy more coins and stuff like that, but it doesn't even work. So you're just left with a really mediocre game that won't even make that much money from dumbass kids using their mom's credit card. Play Balloons Tower Defense, don't buy this shit. The Iceman is the game that broke me. In the Iceman, you play as the Iceman and try to get him into a freezer. All you do is click and wait. There's no music, there's no mechanics, there's barely any obstacles or problems. All you do is press the left mouse key. Playing the Iceman was a pretty humbling experience, because it made me realize I live a truly privileged life where I never have to play this fucking game again. Race and Desert is another mobile Steam game that I also don't have a lot to say about. You've probably played games like this on your Chromebook during English class, So I'm just gonna assume you get the gist of it just by looking at the footage. The only real difference is that every menu and level is absolute sensory overload. And there's no way for you to orient your car in midair, so you really just kind of have to pray that you end up in a good spot. But these are some minor qualms, and overall, decent game. The final game is tragically another bus sim. Now admittedly, this is probably my favorite out of all of them. The controls are actually pretty fun, and I could see myself playing this for longer if I really had nothing else to do. But then again, that's probably most of the games in this video. But I think that's what the main problem is with all these bundles. All these games, whether really low effort or otherwise, I can never really see myself playing again willingly. They all hurt me to play in some way or another, and I don't really think it's worth anyone's time to play them unless you quite literally had no other choice. So the real question is, should you buy one of these key bundles? In my opinion, kinda. After adding up the total cost of these games, it does come out to about over $500 worth of games. But when you really look into these games, you can see that most of the prices are really comically inflated for what you get. Most of these are just mobile games that were slapped on Steam to get a couple extra bucks, and I don't really think they're worth like $40. Yeah, I think one or two of the games on here actually had a good amount of passion put into them, but most of them were dog shit. And I would say that all of them have some better alternatives that are really cheap, if not free. So if you want to dick around with some weird games, and I say go ahead and buy one of these right now from the Scary Witch Lady. But if you actually want a game that you're probably going to stick through till the end, just save your pennies.